Good afternoon, party people. Do you know what? I know we're still in retrograde shadow, Mercury retrograde shadow, but I can't seem to get the right message forward with what I want to tell you. It's really quite important. I want to talk to you about dream diaries, journaling, and when source communicates things directly to you that you need to heed caution of and that you really need to pay attention to. We are all products of the universe, okay? Whatever your faith or your belief may be, the omnipotent being that created all of us and everything is source, is the universe, okay? We've lived many lifetimes and we are energy. Energy doesn't lie, okay? And there are times when your universal parent wants to communicate something to you that you should know. It can come to you in lots of things, in sign written vans, in synchronicities, in registration plates. So adverts on TV, random songs on the radio, odd things, dreams. Most pertinently, dreams. Now, if you are needing guidance at all and you are not sure where you're going in your life, what you want, and you want answers, some people follow tarot readings. Yes, they're good for guidance, but I wouldn't overdo them sometimes because there are a lot of somebody else's perceived energy, and the danger with tarot readings, I think, is that you can watch them and try and mold them to what you desire. Okay, you need to shut out all other interference because it's a conversation, it's a board meeting between you and source. So, you know, those readings, they're general readings, they're for thousands and thousands of people. It could be anybody. Don't make it fit. It's very, very true. Okay. And our tendency sometimes to self-soothe is to try and make things fit. But when you are communicating directly with the source and you are given a dream, or anything else, or any signs, feathers, number synchronicities, is unmistakable. But because life is busy and the modern world runs at 1,000 miles an hour, and a lot of us have got responsibilities, we can forget things. So to journal it and to document it is very, very pertinent indeed. Now, it's funny because I woke up this morning and I had a dream that was about a friend of mine, and it was a fight. It was an odd dream. It was a very confusing dream. It wasn't cautionary, but it was just one thing that she said in a sentence, and it detailed a timeline, even though the response in the sentence didn't correlate with what the dream was at all. But because she seemed to give a timeline on something, even though it wasn't made clear what it was, I had to document it. And I also, the moment I opened my eyes at about 5:20 this morning, I got told, you need to get that in the diary. Get it down, get it down, get it down. I thought, she probably did that 30 years ago. Why? I know, it was so confusing. Anyway, I kept being told timeline. There are times in the morning I get up and I haven't got time to journal. So I'm a single parent with 3 kids, okay? So I get up, run around to get everybody ready for school, get the dog sorted out on the road for a couple of hours, back. If I don't document it, I get told, and I get told frequently while I'm driving. I see signs when I'm driving as well. I see it on billboards, sign written vans, registration plates, sometimes a random song comes on YouTube, or sometimes if I ask the universe for a sign, it's like, come on universe, give us a sign, what do I need to know today, okay? Or an answer to a question or an emotional issue that I may or may not have at that day. Sometimes I just literally randomly click on either Instagram or Facebook, say, right, what's the first feed I'm going to see? And there's often a message there. It's either in a meme or someone's posted something. It's like, yep, that answers my question. I thank you very much. But dreams can be very, very, very forceful, and sometimes they can be repeated. Sometimes they're so accurate, it's terrifying. Okay. Sorry about that. Dog was starving. Anyway, so when there are warnings, I get told. Mercury retrograde was quite unlike any I've ever known. Mercury retrograde is renowned for past energies coming in, electrical things breaking down, and all sorts of kerfuffle. I've had none of that this time. It's been remarkably quiet. Also, it's intended for a time of deep reflection, soul work and contemplation, and that's how it has been. Lots of answers, lots of opening up to source. If you are going through a difficult time in your life, you're healing over whatever situation or what have you, to communicate with source is often the best healing remedy. Just silence, just driving in the car, just speaking out loud and asking the question. You may not immediately get an answer. Okay, I've just seen 444, but eventually it will come. It will either come in a sign and you will understand and join the dots. When you journal, when you keep a dream diary, even if you scribble it on a note, I've got a random notebook in my car, put it all together. It's funny because I was driving into my child's school yesterday morning and the sunrise was beautiful. The day before it wasn't so good. When I took the camera it wasn't so good. But then when I didn't take the camera yesterday morning it was beautiful. But as I'm driving in and I can see, I've actually got words feeding through my head at the beginning of poetry. So I pull in, I dropped said child off, and I write it down. Write it down, close the book, put the book back in the door, side of the door. And sometimes you get random sentences, and if you get random sentences, write them down. Sometimes people can communicate to you through energy, in other words, as well. People you are either estranged from or you haven't seen in a long while, or sometimes people trying to reach you, and sometimes passed over loved ones. The other week, I was, every night I speak to source. I speak to the angels. I have my board meeting. Call it meditation, call it whatever you want. I call it a check-in, okay? Every day for the last at least 3 years now, I've spoken to Source, and it's my gratitude to Source, I'm sure has paid me back in many ways. I've been given answers, I've been given guidance, I've been given caution, and I've been forewarned. But there are sometimes when I'm told things I don't want to know, and have been times when I've said, please don't tell me this is going to happen, please don't tell me this is true, and it has been. Learning to surrender, learning to accept situations and what's coming, and gently holding yourself steady, I think, is probably the best tact. You can't change events. You can't interfere with free will, and neither should you. But Source at times will prompt you. It will warn you because it's trying to prepare you. Okay. There have been times of extreme danger. Your intuition, I'm sure lots of you can resonate with this. You're walking home from the pub and you're in a little bit worse for wear. It's not happened to me for decades. I've been dry for years. You just get a feeling something's not quite right. You turn around, it's someone very closely to you, so you walk into the nearest kebab shop, or you stand outside the police station, something like. And sometimes you often wonder, certainly my 20s, like 20, I just think, how close was I to danger there? How close was I? It's very weird. Your spidey senses can really be on point. Times where you least expect them, and that's the power of listening to your intuition when you doubt it. Sometimes we can let pride and ego and own personal desire get in the way, and that can cloud your intuition at your expense. But when you keep a dream diary or a general journal, it doesn't matter what you want to call it, as long as you write it down. Sometimes you dream things, you're told things, you're given sentences, and then hours. It's been known, hours, within 12 hours, or a couple of weeks, or most pertinently, one day shy of a month, the exact image and vision I was given happened. At the time when I got the message, I was a little confused because what I knew in my reality wasn't what I was given. But when it came to fruition later on, right down to the detail, was actually scarily accurate. So, and then after the event happened, I was then nudged by source, go check your dream diary. It said that you've seen this. Actually, you can actually get a full sentence like that sometimes. It's most peculiar. So you go back, you check your dream diary, and then you check a couple of days before, a couple of weeks before, a couple of weeks on, and you find that other events that you have in fact dreamed about have also come to fruition. At the moment, my accuracy rate is about 9.5 out of 10, which is quite terrifying. You think, am I too scared to go to sleep? Or is this a blessing because I'm being told directly? When you spend time with yourself and all the external you shut out, okay, it gives you and source headspace to converse with one another, okay? Let go, let God, okay? Listen to what source has for you. Surrender, be open-minded. They're not doing things to you, they're doing things for you. They want the very best for you, okay? You need to sometimes shut your gob, shut your ego down and listen, because whilst things might not seem ideal at the time, there's a bigger plan. Like I said at the beginning of this vid, source knows your beginning, your middle and your end date. Your conception wasn't an accident. It was all planned out way before this conception, probably before any other conception as well. But that's a whole other topic for another day. Okay, so do write it all down, do journal. It also clarifies things, and there are sometimes, other things that have happened in the 3D here that you can write down. The people will swear blind didn't happen, or especially if past energies do come in and they try to tell you a different version, or your reminiscence goggles stay firmly on and you think, oh, bloody hell. But when you go back and look in your journal, it reminds you just exactly the reality of the situation, and that can be priceless. That's also a communication from source. So I would strongly recommend journaling, dream diary, write anything down that you can, okay? Sometimes you get a random song in your head. It could be a message from someone you love. Sometimes you get a dream. You dream about someone you haven't seen for a very long time. Are they trying to communicate with you? Who knows? Is it source telling you about to see them? Sometimes. Happened to me quite a lot recently. Who knows? Okay? Sometimes people that you haven't thought about in 20, 30 years is very strange, okay? But then sometimes you can be told from another source news about that person. And it's a funny way, and I don't know why it happens, but it does. But all I'm saying is this: journal, because it is your evidence, it is your courtroom, it is your validation, it is your confirmer and your dots joiner upper. On that note, I'm going to go because that dog's circling the door, and right now I think that source telling me that if I don't act, I'm going to have a floor to clean. So take care of yourselves, look after yourselves, and I will speak to you very soon. Take care.